Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With the Big Family Homestead, and today we are going over a list. We've got a list and we're not afraid to use it.
Are you going to check it twice?
I might find out who's naughty and nice, but instead, we've got a top 10 list of essential, absolutely essential homesteading tools. All right, the definition of homesteading changes with just about everybody you talk to.
And everybody has a different way of homesteading. It's not the same for everyone.
We have been, air quotes, homesteading
Right.
for
6 years?
6 years now?
Yeah, about. Maybe 7.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started out as kind of preppers.
Yeah.
And when you kind of wake up and realize, oh my gosh, things are really, really fragile and, you know, a lot of things could happen at any moment. And then, of course, you get all your beans and you get all your stuff and you put it away.
And then we come to the realization that how are we going to resupply those beans and rice and flour and
Bullets.
No, not those.
No,
definitely
no.
not those.
No.
So we decided we were going to start growing our own foods and canning our own foods, and then, what about chicken? Should we have chickens?
I like to eat food.
I like chickens.
And
they give eggs and meat, and it snowballed from there.
Yeah, and for those who know our background, it's kind of funny because when you consider we went from a Christian rock star being on stage, flying everywhere,
stay-at-home mom,
owning tour buses, stay-at-home mom, to I think I want to raise my own chickens
and bees.
Bees, and people flipped out. They didn't. They were like, "Who the heck are you? And what have you done with Brad?"
Yeah, people we've known for 20 plus years. What? Who are you?
However, I'll tell you something that's really interesting about that. About 7-ish years ago, when we really started getting into this, I would call people, my friends all around the country and even the world, and it was like somebody took a switch and turned a switch, and then all of these people from completely different walks of life, all started getting interested about the same time.
Yeah.
Same things. Like, I want to know how to grow food. I want to know how to do this. I need to learn how to weld.
Yep.
And I personally think that it's not by coincidence that all of a sudden all of these people are being
Switched on,
I guess you could say. So while we are not lifelong homesteaders by any stretch of the imagination, we figured we would share with you our top 10 list of things we've come up with over the past 6-7 years that we feel are essential tools to homesteading.
Oh, definitely.
And so if you think we got it right, put a comment down below. If you think we missed out on something,
Right. That's what I was going to say. Put that down below, too.
hey, we'd like to learn.
Oh, yeah. What other tools do we need to have in our arsenal? No, not that kind. For, daily life.
Homesteading. Some of these, I guarantee you, there's going to be people out there shaking their heads going, what the heck are you talking about? But if you hear us out, you'll find that there is method to our madness.
Yeah, straight up madness.
And some of these are not necessarily like the big ones that you would automatically expect. We're talking things that you use all the time. That's the pre-qualifier. Things that you have to have it, you got to use it, and it's got to be right.
Yep.
So let's start with here. This one's a pretty well, I would say accepted.
Oh yeah. A pressure canner or a pressure cooker. This is our pressure cooker, and we make a few different meals in this. And I got to tell you, it's a huge time saver. I mean, I know a lot of people have those instant pots. I don't have one. I don't need another gadget. I have a pressure cooker. I like it. And, it makes dinner fast. We made dinner in, 10-15 minutes last night.
The big thing, though, I think, is the canning food.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you're going to be self-reliant, you're going to be trying to grow as much as you can. You're going to try and raise as much as you can. And you can take chicken and cut it into small pieces and stick it in a pressure canner, and then you've got a really nice long shelf life out of that.
Yep, and it's very versatile because their only seasoning in there is salt, and that's the preservative. And you can use it for chicken salad, chicken pot pie.
Noodles. You just make,
chicken and
whip
chicken
together.
gravy and noodles and
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many different things you could do with it.
The pressure cooker, pressure canner. Get one. Get to know it. When we first started out, it was kind of frightening, to be honest.
I didn't want one. They scared the stew out of me. Well, and they're inexpensive. The Presto ones that are enormous are less than $50.
There'll be, by the way, if there's stuff you want to research more, we're going to leave links down below. But get a pressure canner. Don't, follow the instructions.
Yes.
Watch some videos. Learn how to do it. But you don't need to live in fear of the canner. So
not at all.
We use it constantly.
A lot.
Constantly. So let's go with one that people are probably not going to believe is a real thing.
Dish rags. We use a ton of dish rags.
For everything.
For everything. From washing the cow's udder to cleaning out Nana's cage to cleaning up a mess anywhere. Washing dishes. We use a new one every time we wash dishes. And then I wash them a couple of times a week. It saves so much money and so much hassle. No paper towels. You're not adding more stuff to the landfill. The paper towels are expensive. The rags, you buy a big package from Walmart for $3-4.
Or better yet, you make your own.
Yeah, you can make your own out of old t-shirts. We just get those big ones because they're just the right size, and we use them every day. Brad asked me earlier, what's the thing you use the most here?
She didn't miss a beat.
No, rags. Because we use them so much.
Yeah, I knew, in that one probably there's people going, rags? Really?
Yes.
Rags.
Dusting, cleaning the bathroom, everything.
Okay, this one is one that I'm going to go ahead and bring out a visual aid, and that is outerwear. And what I mean, not underwear.
No, outerwear. Yeah.
During the winter, a good pair of coveralls. During the winter, good insulated gloves. These, look at this. I mean, I've only had this pair of gloves for
a couple months,
and these things have been tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been tough. This is like a Wells Lamont authentic Hydra hide.
Yeah.
And the
Super warm.
Yeah, good outerwear is a must, and you can't go cheap on it. This is one of those things where you can't get $5 gloves because they're going to just tear apart.
And you'll buy them again and again and again.
Which is what happened in the beginning.
Yep. Buy a good pair of gloves. You can get them. How much were those? 50,
these were only
20?
These are $25
Yeah, $25
or something like that.
And they will last you a long time.
Waterproof. And they've got that thin salate stuff in there to keep you warm. And I mean, I was out plowing yesterday. It was -17 and the wind was going. And I was being lazy. I didn't put my coveralls on. I had a nice thick jacket and my stuff. I had this and a hat and all that kind of stuff. But I was sitting there going, my legs are tingling.
Should have probably put your coveralls on.
But my hands were warm. Get good outerwear.
Yep.
And that leads us over to here. One of the things that I think Mama absolutely will use is almost...
I use it every day.
Sewing machine.
Yeah.
Or her crochet needles.
Or my crochet hooks. Yep. Every day I'm crocheting something.
Or fixing somebody's dress.
Right.
The sewing machine, if you don't know how to sew, learn.
It's a valuable skill. I mean, even if you're just going to hand stitch something or sew on a button, it's really, really helpful to know how to do that.
Oh, and she crocheted this hat for me. This is wool.
Yeah.
And I have never had a hat so warm in my entire life.
Right. It's double strand.
Super nice
wool,
knit, tight.
Yeah, super tight knit, and it really...
Well,
keeps
we've
your
got
head
a
warm.
friend that she made one for Christmas.
Yeah.
And this person is out in the weather a lot. Drives a truck, and so he could be in -30-degree weather, -15, whatever it is, outside dealing with outside, and then you get back in the truck. And what did he say about the hat?
He said it made his head sweat.
had to take it off.
He had to take it off when he was in the truck.
Yeah, so that's a good compliment.
That's a very good sign. It definitely kept his head warm, and I was happy about that.
Sewing machine is a must. Learn how to fix things and make stuff.
There's tons of YouTube videos out there that can show you how to do these. I'm not talented enough to show you yet.
I was going to say you should show from a beginner's perspective.
Oh, no. Because how many times did it take me to make this hat?
She remade it probably 6 times.
Because it just wouldn't lay right, and
it didn't, and then it was like either I can't get it on, or it was like
too big.
But I'm very grateful for my very, very, very warm hat.
I'm not good enough.
Sewing machine, learn to crochet, learn to do some of those things. Yeah. Here, I should. I'm gonna mark off the ones that we've dealt with. So, okay, this is a funny one. This is a funny one that I gotta mark that off. Mark that off. This is a funny one that you're probably going to go, what are you talking about? Something that we use all the time, every day.
And they're expensive at the store.
Well, they can be.
They can be, yeah.
And that's buckets. 5-gallon buckets, 3-gallon buckets, scoops for animal feed.
Yep.
Places to make compost tea with for your garden. Hauling junk, putting things... Buckets, 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah, and I know you can get them. If you go to your bakery, you can get the icing buckets for free.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, not all the time. I know the store around here, they sell them for $1.50, which is still a really reasonable price.
Well,
it's cheaper than going to a
Home Depot,
a feed store, and spending $15 on a bucket. When you drop it and break it, or you put water in it, it freezes and it cracks, and
we're constantly going through buckets.
Yeah. So what we've started to do, instead of having to buy scoops or even buckets, we save all of our laundry detergent containers.
You just cut the lip off.
I cut a lip out, and then you've got your scoop, or you've got something to carry it with. It's a sturdy thing, and it didn't cost anything.
That's true. Buckets, 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 but not a drop to drink. Buckets everywhere. Charlie buckets.
And that's that reduce, reuse, recycle.
It is. Now, I'm saving this one for last, because that's, not super last, but coming towards last. Here's one that we are constantly using, and it was one of those tools, it's an actual tool that we bought, and at first I was just like, we're not going to use this thing much. But... it's constantly in use when it's not freezing outside, and that is our fence pounder.
Yep, that thing is super handy.
Boom, boom. You don't want to be digging holes every time you got to move a pen.
Right.
And you got to move pens a lot. Because pens get poopy. Pens get scratched up. Pens get destroyed. If you got pigs out there, they're going to destroy whatever area they're in. It will only take a matter of days.
Well, and that's beneficial to the land.
True.
And it feeds the pigs, but you need to move them around.
Fence pounder. And I gotta tell you what, this is gonna sound weird, but the heavier, the better.
Yep.
Because it's a pain in the butt to get it up there when you're tired and you're like, boom. But the heavier the weight of that sucker is, the easier it's going into the ground.
Yep.
Everything from grounding rods. Oh man, we use our fence pounder a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go. Why don't you go here?
Okay. I need the visual aid. Reference information, reference materials from first aid, gardening. This one is super valuable. The Back to Basics series, it tells you how to do everything.
From building a house to how to shoe a boot.
Right, and having it in actual book form. Granted, if you get it on a PDF, print it out. That way you have it so that if your computer dies, you've lost all of that PDF material. You need to print this stuff out. It's super, super valuable. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, well, and it's not just obviously these topics. It's anything that you're going to need to be able to make, do, fashion, craft. Get it. I mean, this one's invaluable. You're talking a water-resistant book that has basic field guide, first aid stuff.
Yep.
That's coming in handy.
Yep.
it has been used and it's going to continue to be used.
Yep.
But definitely get yourself reference materials. Oh, and here's the thing: like if you live near a big city and they have what do they call that? Half-price books.
Oh yeah, they have them all over the place, just not here in Wisconsin.
Which is a bummer.
That is a real bummer. Half-price books, they sell used books for a really reasonable price. This book particularly, we got for $2. It was on clearance at Half-Price Books.
That's Mama's phone ring. We'll just pause for right now. So half-price books. Another thing that they do is once a year, wherever they have like a hub in the area, so like they say they've got 4 or 5 stores around, every year they will empty their stores of all the stuff that's not really moving, not really selling, and then you get them cheap.
Oh my goodness. 50 cents, $1, $2
for hardbacks.
For hardcover books. It's such a word. And they don't just sell gardening books. They sell everything.
Yeah, even video games, which that's a whole nother word.
And DVDs. And we've gotten homeschooling curriculum there before.
Yep.
Yeah, no. It's definitely worth it.
Information. Now, this one, we'll save this for later.
Okay.
The thing that I probably use, the single tool that I use more than any other tool, except, well, I'll say that this is an actual physical tool. And that is this, my knife. My Buck 810.
110.
110, I always get that wrong. 110 knife. It's latching. I've had this thing for 10 years, I think, now coming up.
Yeah.
And I use it every day, day after day. It's always with me. I even bring it to church, whatever. It's always on me.
So what?
It just gets used for everything. And I would say that, I know that there are people out there that are going to go, well, that Buck 110, in this grand scheme of things, it's not that great of a knife in terms of quality. Maybe not, but that's what we could have afforded when I got it.
Right. Well, and also, there's a lifetime warranty on these knives. If the blade breaks on the tip, you send it back, and they will repair it. That Jonathan's actually did that. The tip broke. They repaired it for free. He got a whole new blade in there.
Yeah, so if you don't have a good knife, I would recommend that you get something that's got somewhat of a sizable blade. Not too small, but not too big either.
Right.
Just because the way that you're going to have to manipulate it and use it sometimes gets wonky. If it's too big or if it's too small, it might not give you enough leverage. However, one thing too is keep your knife sharp. It's dull knives that get you cut because you're working at a thing and you're trying to cut through something, and if your knife isn't sharp, that's when you'll end up putting too much force or you'll push it in a way that you shouldn't have, and then you slip, and that's when you get cut.
Right.
So knife, get the best you can afford to get, because quality is important, but like I said, this one was the one that we could afford at the time. So the knife, that's the single thing that I use probably more than anything else now. Before we go there, this one, was unexpected.
Yes. Our ATV has been a huge blessing to our family. You can pull a cart with it, you can plow snow with it.
Push poop
with it. Goodness gracious, there's
all things.
Yeah, there's so many things. They're not just fun things. And granted, that's a huge benefit, but
hunting.
Yeah.
Sure, you can if you hunt and you end up getting a deer or whatever. Sure, you can drag it out of the woods. That's not an issue at all. But it is vastly better if you can slap it on the back of the rack and you drive it on back.
Exactly.
But everything around here, and the thing about the ATV that was surprising is just how many uses it has.
Yep.
Because
drive the fence line with it. Corral animals.
Oh yeah.
We've done that before.
Having kids on tubes, slinging them around in the snow. That's fun.
That is a blast. And I think in the summertime we'll do mattress sledding.
Oh, no. That's weird. But the ATV has been surprisingly utilitarian. And I even say that because you guys know I love my tractor. I love my tractor. And the tractor has its uses.
Yeah.
But the ATV trumps it in terms of variety of things you can use it for.
Right. It's helped us get out of many pickles. You know, if you get stuck, like this past summer, you got stuck
Yep.
in there. I was able to ride the ATV quickly back to the house
Pull the
to get
winch.
the things I needed, to get the winch, and yeah.
Yeah. So
Funny.
while that is probably not, I guess some folks would say that's not an essential homesteading tool.
No.
It probably is not essential, but I'll tell you what, it has saved the day
helpful.
so many times.
It has benefited us a lot.
Okay, and last but not least, at least for this list, is your mind, your brains, your intellect, your intelligence. And I think the single biggest thing, this is the biggest one on there, this is the tool that you're going to use more than anything, even more than my knife.
Right.
But there's a trick to it. It's the ability not to just be able to regurgitate information, but to learn from your mistakes.
To learn what works and what doesn't work, and how to implement it in your family and in your homestead.
And not to be so prideful that you think that you know it all and you can't go ask somebody else who's been doing it forever.
And that your way is the only way.
Oh my gosh. We've got some really great farming family friends, but you ask any 2 farmers, 10 farmers, 100 farmers.
50 farmers, they all do it different.
They all have a different way of doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. They've figured out what works for them.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that if you do not have the ability to learn from somebody else who's been doing it forever, that's going to be a challenge for you.
Yep. Yeah.
There's the list, guys. Tell us what you think. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? And what did we leave out? Because we need to know. We don't know.
Right. We're still learning.
That's it. I'm Brad.
I'm Krista.
You guys have an amazing day.